Hello, my imperfect warriors, and welcome back to Failing Imperfectly. I don't know if you know, but I am actually sitting outside of my comfort zone right now. This is my 7th video here on YouTube, and not only is it my 7th video, but I did not get all my makeup or my hair done or in perfect clothes to look perfect for this video. I'm here, I'm me, this is what I do on a Saturday, and this is what I look like on a Saturday. So it's outside my comfort zone, but I'm doing it, and I'm doing it because I want to challenge myself to grow, and I want to share that growth with you in the hopes that you can connect with me and my story and can find inspiration for your journey. So I've been talking to one of my friends from college about comfort zones and the anxiety that comes with being pushed outside of them. The conversation has reminded me of how much growth that I have done and how much I still have to do. It also reminded me that sometimes people will see where I am today and think that I've always been this confident or this motivated, which it's not true. Comfort zones are where we stay because we are afraid of failing. Comfort zones aren't always what they seem. Comfort zones are areas of our lives that we've built walls around to protect ourselves. Comfort zones are easy, and comfort zones are comfortable. Except, are they? Is your comfort zone truly comfortable to you? Is your comfort zone truly an easy life? Mine wasn't. And my comfort zone was a place that kept me from feeling all the feels because I buried them deep. It was where I stayed so I wouldn't offend people. It is where I stayed in the hope that I could make other people happy. I thought being in my comfort zone meant I wouldn't encounter failure, ever. My comfort zone was supposed to keep me safe so I could coast through life, but it didn't. It limited me. It kept me stuck in an emotional, anxious hell. My comfort zone was absolutely painful. My comfort zone made my life difficult. I thought I was avoiding risk by keeping myself within the walls of my comfort zone. I wasn't. Staying within my comfort zone is one of the riskiest things I was doing in my life. Taking the first step to break down the walls of my comfort zone was a whirlwind for me, and completely unintentional. I did it because I was completely opening up to Eddie when we first started dating, and we're just getting to know each other. It felt so natural to tell him just everything about my life. Every single day, one of my walls was developing cracks. I didn't notice it at first, and it wasn't intentional on Eddie's part. It was just part of opening my heart. I was in love, and I felt no reservation about sharing my life and didn't keep anything hidden from Eddie. It was the first time in so long I had shared parts of my life. And then I started to notice that my walls weren't as strong. I was more emotional, and it wasn't as easy to hide my life prior to him from other people. That's right, my comfort zone was where I hid my life from everybody. I look back now and realize that I was actually quite superficial for some time because I didn't want to let anybody in my life. I didn't want anybody to know where I came from or of my struggles. I lived in the party mode, and that was where I was comfortable. Except that couldn't last forever, and it didn't. Eddie broke down every single wall, and my emotional well-being crumbled. Remember, it wasn't his fault. It just happened. It was scary and painful. I was lost. But I actually wasn't any more lost than I had been my entire life. The difference now was that I could feel being lost. I was no longer comfortable in my life. Life was no longer easy. I no longer had any walls. And I just didn't know what to do anymore. I look back now and see how lost I truly was. My comfort zone crumbled even though I kept trying to build the walls back up. I lost sight of my comfort zone and felt like I was wandering through a life that I couldn't control. I thought I had control when I was in my comfort zone, and I wanted that control back. The only way for me to gain control over my life was to work through the pain. I had to stop trying to go backwards and instead move forward through the discomfort. Over the years, I have worked on different pieces of my life to become the woman I am today. It's been painful, and it's been a lot of work. There's not one area of my life that I have complete control over today. And there's not one area of my life that is completely comfortable. In my personal life, I have distanced myself from friends and family to become who I am. I have learned that having a goal of being loved and accepted by every single family member will bury me. As I've stopped living to be loved, I have started to love myself more. I have truly had to work through a lot of tough situations where others make comments about me or my health needs or just my overall health journey, and it makes me feel like shit. It hurts to hear them say these things, and it hurts and is very uncomfortable for me not to bend to them. But it would hurt me more if I were to give in to satisfying their comments rather than taking care of myself. Nobody is going to take care of me or my health, or take me seriously if I don't do it first. For instance, drinking alcohol. Alcohol and drinking a lot of it at certain family events was completely in my comfort zone. It was normal. To be true to the change I've been making with quitting drinking for my health, I had to get outside of my comfort zone and be honest with people about why I quit. I had to risk their judgment to take care of myself. I had to tell drunk friends and family, no, I'm not gonna just drink with you this one time. My comfort zone was to do what they wanted or what they asked, and not doing anything different than I was used to. The only thing I could do to be true to myself and who I am and who I want to be is to not drink and just deal with the comments. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. My husband doesn't do the personal development that I do, and I was afraid to make it a priority over spending time with him on the couch watching TV. Like right now, I'm in here doing this, sharing this with you. He's somewhere else in the house and I have no idea what he's doing, and it's outside my comfort zone to say, you can't come in here. It's been a lot of work, but to be true to the goals that I want to achieve and to pursue my dreams, I had to get outside of my comfort zone. I was worried that Eddie wouldn't be supportive when I first started, and I was actually so wrong. He's like, okay, whatever, all right, whatever, sure. Of course, in the Eddie way, that's more me. In my career, I've held myself back because I didn't want to stand up for changes that I believe that needed to be made, and I didn't apply for positions that I knew without a doubt that I could successfully handle. I held myself back for years because I was comfortable in my comfort zone and was afraid of what would happen if I went for something more challenging. Then after 4 layoffs and about 2 years, I was done. Safe was no longer working for me. It took a few years and a few comfortable positions to get to the most challenging position that really broke my comfort zone. I was thrust into a role that wasn't what I signed up for. It was one of those positions that I used to think that only the strongest, most successful people would get. They wouldn't fail. I thought I would fail. The work of the position was far beyond the title or the pay that I had at the time. And it was far beyond where my comfort zone was. It was hard. but I learned from it, and I've been able to take on bigger roles with more responsibility because of it. These roles are roles that I don't necessarily know how to do everything I am responsible for. These roles are roles that I thought I would never, ever qualify for. These are roles that I thought were only for the well-to-do people. My inner critic kept telling me and making me think I was still that young girl trying to just make a little bit more money than my parents ever did. My inner critic was limiting me and keeping me thinking that I'm too young, I'm not good enough, I'm not from the right family, I'm not from the right college, I'm not old enough, I'm not adult enough, I'm not qualified. My inner critic was trying to keep me within my comfort zone. And because I stepped past the edge of my comfort zone, I am now in a position with a company that has a mission I can relate to, and I do relate to it. I'm in a position where I actually see advancement opportunities. If I had stayed in my comfort zone, I would have chosen the position with a larger company with predefined roles and procedures. But I didn't. This company has less than 100 people, is venture funded, and is in a period of extreme growth where I get to make some processes. It is a make or break position. The revenue for this year, for the first 2 quarters, depend on my success at scheduling the deployments after contracts are signed. This is enough to trigger my anxiety and keep me from focusing on the critical tasks. I could spend so much time scrolling instead of doing my job just to avoid the anxiety. This is enough to make me hide from my email that I can't keep on top of. But I don't. I am breaking down all of my tasks and ordering them by priority. I am focusing on the most important tasks every single day. I am focusing on the things that will bring in the revenue rather than the nice to haves. Even the nice to haves are critical to the business, but not as critical as the few things I have to focus on. I don't have enough time in the day to do everything, and I'm not going to work myself to death. My boss knows that because he's in the exact same boat. If I were to have stayed in my comfort zone, I would not know what I am truly capable of. I wouldn't have taken on this challenge. This challenge is scary and has a huge potential for failure. I can easily let everybody at the company down, and I can quickly fuck shit up. There's a lot of responsibility weighing on me. But the thing that keeps me going is knowing that the only way I can see if I can succeed is to keep going, is to keep trying, to get one small accomplishment after another, and to stay outside of my comfort zone. The thing about staying in our comfort zone is that we will never know what we are truly capable of. If we don't step outside of it, we will never know what could have been. If we don't get out of the safety that we know, we won't know if the stress is worth it. If I stay in my comfort zone, I will never know what I'm truly capable of. Am I going to hold myself back and stay in the anxious space, or am I going to push forward and tackle the responsibility one task at a time? Am I going to challenge myself? Am I going to stay in the space of holding on to the negative feelings like embarrassment simply because that is what is comfortable? Am I going to stay in the negative thoughts that keep me safe? Or am I going to tell myself that I can do this, and the challenge and the overwhelming feeling is worth it? I can tell you what I'm doing. I am pushing forward. I am going head first at this challenge. Every single day, more and more email hits my inbox, and there are more and more unread. I am the person who wants 0 emails in my inbox. That means I'm good, I'm on top of things, but I can't do that in this job. And it's something I have to get used to. There will always be something that I leave on the table that has to be done. And that is part of life. It's not what I want it to be, but it is what it will be, and I can work through it. What are you telling yourself? Remember, what you tell yourself, you believe. Are you telling yourself that you can or you can't? Why? Why are you telling yourself that? Where does that come from? If you want to step outside your comfort zone, you have to start changing how you speak to yourself. You will never overcome what is challenging you if you don't work through it. Take one step every day to break free of your comfort zone. You will end up thanking yourself for it. Remember, my imperfect warriors, you already have what it takes. Believe in yourself and crush every failure on your way to your dreams. Let's be imperfect together.